clever device to make you call me in.
So you've got a Samsung Galaxy device and you already know the #1 advantage Android has over iPhones is the choices available to you. And Samsung really championed this idea and they already give you so many personalization features straight out of the box. And in fact, I made a video detailing the top 17 new features on One UI 5.0, which I'll link at the end of this video. So for some of you, what I'm about to show you is going to be brand new, and for others, it might be old news, and you might already be a pro user when it comes to Samsung Galaxy devices. So if that is you, let me know in the comments below and leave your best tips and tricks, because I'd like to check those out. And either way, I like to think that this video has got a little bit of something for everybody, so stick around. And here is the official Samsung app that takes your device customization to the next level. It is called Good Lock. And trust me, this app is the key to unlocking the ultimate customization experience on your Samsung devices. And this software is created by Samsung, which means it's perfectly safe to use. So you can just sit back, relax, and even enjoy creating your own parallax wallpaper effects like I have here. So the first thing you need to do to follow along with this video is actually download the Good Lock app. It's not on the Google Play Store, it is on Samsung's Galaxy Store. So you can just go to all your apps, type in Galaxy Store, and the icon will look like this. Just type in Good Lock and you'll see the icon here. It's this pink one. Install that. And a word of advice is always download it from Samsung's official store. Do not trust any dodgy third-party websites. Now think of Good Lock as an app library of its own, but this app library is dedicated to Samsung Galaxy customization. And at the time of this video, there are actually 19 different apps within Good Lock. So you can pick and choose only the best ones, and I've made this video specifically to help you do that. So instead of going through each and every single app here on Good Lock, I've taken the time to rank the top 10 customization tweaks in order, so they will get better as we go along. And now there's just one question. Are you ready to make your phone more your own and take the training wheels off your Samsung Galaxy device? Well, all right then, good, let's go. Did you know that there's a secret button on the back of the Samsung Galaxy? If you said no, you'd be right, because there isn't actually a button on the back. There is, however, very intelligent accelerometers and gyroscopes built into the device. Think of these as a sort of digital spirit level, a kind of digital bubble floating in digital liquid. Your Galaxy can measure the movement parameters of that bubble and detect if you're tapping the back of the device or not. And you can map this input to do whatever you want it to. So within Good Lock, go to the Life Up section at the bottom. Here, scroll down to where you see Register. You may need to install this first. Now within Register, if you go to the back tap action, here, switch this on. And now you can enable the double tap to do something and the triple tap. So just tap on that section. You can choose an app if you want. For example, double tap could be Alexa. Triple tap could be...
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Triple tap could be your calculator. And you can enable this event detection if you want, so it will just give you a log of every time you've activated the double or triple tap, but that's up to you. As you can see, double tap opens my Alexa app, triple tap opens the calculator. So it's little hacks like this that can help your workflow, help you be more efficient and get things done a little quicker. And those are all good things. So for me, the side key on a device should always be the power key, but for Samsung, it's Bixby, and you can switch this to be a power key, which is what I do most of the time, and I explain how to do that in my other tips and tricks video. But what if you don't want it to be a power key and you don't want it to be Bixby, you want it to be Google Assistant? Well, up until now, it's been really difficult to do, but now, thanks to the Good Lock gods, it is possible, and here's how to do it. Open Good Lock. Once again, we're going to go to the Life Up section and Register, and then here you'll see at the bottom, side key press and hold action. Now we can switch this on. And we don't have to make this Google Assistant. We can actually make it do anything that we want. But you'll notice right at the top is the Google Assistant option. But check this out. We can do any of these presets, but we can also go here and choose a specific app that we want it to open. So if you want to use Alexa instead of Google Assistant, you could do that too. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave it as access your Google Assistant. Now, when I hold the power button, you get the most powerful virtual assistant in the business. So there are two navigation styles that most people use on their phones. There is the gestures, which are more modern, and then there's the more old school 3 seashell technique.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Well, you don't know how to use the 3 seashells? Of course you do. I'm talking about the navigation buttons. Either way, here's how you can customize and tweak them to be a little bit more unique. To do this, go to Good Lock, go to the makeup section and go to LockStar. And you'll see at the bottom, we have buttons and we have gestures. And when it comes to gestures, there's a bunch of things you can do. But one of the things that I've done, and you can see it straight away, is I've changed the color of the gesture handle. And you can even change the width of the handle as well. So we can go massive with the width here. We can go more transparent, so it's less eye-catching if you want. And then if you hit color, you've got a full color palette here. You can even put in the hex code for a specific color if you want. I do like the yellow, but purple is pretty cool. You can choose anything you like here. Now staying within LockStar, if we go to the buttons section here and enable the button navigation, it will take us directly to the page where we can switch it back to buttons. And you'll see there's already a bunch of presets which you can choose straight away. You can even enable this to show and hide the buttons as well. But you see there's some cool ones. And if you want to create your own one, just go to new configuration here. You can customize each of the buttons. But one of the cool things you can do here is enable adaptive icon color. So it'll adjust to depending on what screen you're on so that the keys stand out properly. You can adjust the layout and you can also adjust the background color for the buttons. So I realized from reading the comment section on my other Samsung Galaxy tips and tricks videos that many people are now deciding to jump over from iPhones more and more often these days. And for those people specifically, you're gonna love this one. And even if you're not coming over from iOS, I still think you're gonna find this pretty interesting. So open up Good Lock. This time we're gonna go to the makeup section. Scroll down to where it says Home Up. Tap that and install it if you haven't got it already, and enable it. So Samsung described this particular app as an improved One UI home experience. And you might be wondering, why didn't they just install it from day one? Well, do you remember that scene in Spider-Man where Tony Stark gives him the new suit, but then he has the training wheels on it, which means he couldn't unlock the full potential because he didn't want to blow his mind? Well, that's basically why Samsung don't install all of this stuff by default. So there are plenty of tools to play around with here on Home Up, but there's one in specific that I want to focus on for this first Home Up tip. It is the task changer. So your backgrounding is very Samsung styled at this point in time. But let's say you are coming over from iOS. If you switch it to stacked and turn off search bar and recommendations, your backgrounding is going to be identical to iOS. So it will look identical to an iPhone. So it will feel just like home if you've just made the switch. And there are plenty of other options to play with here when it comes to the layout. I particularly like this slim list. The reason being, I haven't seen anybody else using this, but also you can see so many of your apps all in one go without having to swipe or slide to the left or to the right. And then you can add all these extra tools and tweaks to that layout as well. This task changer setting is a game changer. And if you set it up right, it will save you time. And as you know, nobody can give you your time back. Okay, let's level up your keyboard layout game. And don't be scared, like Richard Branson once said, nothing good can be accomplished without a little bit of fear. So with that in mind, let's go back to Good Lock and install Keys Caf. So step one when it comes to creating your own custom keys is to turn on Make Your Own Keyboard. Once you've done that, tap that section there and it will open this up. Now you might be familiar with some of these other keyboard layouts, but I suggest you start with a clean sheet. So if you hit the plus at the side here, this is the standard keyboard. If you hit edit, all of the options become available. Now this might be quite daunting, but it really is quite simple. Let's say, for example, you want to add an emoji somewhere on your keyboard to stay there permanently. You can choose the emoji you want, let's say this one, and drag it down onto the keyboard wherever you want it to be. And then keep in mind, we do have all of these different characters and things we can drag down from the top onto the keyboard. But the downside to this is it actually squashes everything off to the left because you've added an extra key. So if you want to undo that, you can literally just tap the button here. See the little bin icon there, tap that, you can delete that key. There's also an undo button there, so if you make a horrible mistake, you can undo things. What I suggest you do though, instead of adding keys in between other keys, is actually add a new row. To do that, you just hit this button here. This creates a new row. It populates it with emojis by default. But just like before, if you tap one, we can delete these one by one and make space for new emojis. So you get the idea, you can move things around however you want. You can even jumble up the letters if you really wanted to, and you can create your own row of custom emojis or even KO emojis like you see here. And once you're happy with the positioning of these keys, you can actually lock them in place by tapping the key you want to lock and hitting the padlock here. And you'll also notice when you tap a key, you can adjust the width of the key and the height. And I know from experience, having used the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 for quite a while, the spacebar when opened was a bit too short and I kept hitting the full stop by accident. So if you have any issues like this, you can solve them with this app. For example, let's say the spacebar is too small. You can tap the spacebar here and adjust the width. Well, let's say it's too thin this way and you keep hitting the characters above it. You could change the height of that. There really is so much you can do here with this. We could be here all day talking about it, but once you're happy with the layout, you can hit the tick at the top, give the keyboard a name, and now you can switch between the keyboards whenever you like. I'm just going to call this one WOD Gear for now. And there we go, we've selected the keyboard, and we can even share our custom keyboards if we want to by hitting the share button here. We can upload it to Google Drive and then share the link with your friends if you want. Customization can be daunting, and you might be thinking at this point, what if I mess something up and I can't undo it? Well, listen here, most of the good lock customization apps have on and off switches, so you can undo things really easily. And if worst comes to worst, you can always just uninstall the app entirely if it goes wrong. But if you stick with me and pay attention, that should not happen. So let's keep going. So you've created your custom keyboard with your custom keys. Now it's time to add a splash of color to it and customize the look. So once again, let's go back to the Keys Cafe. This one can be quite complex. And what I want to show you is the basics of how to create a custom inspired keyboard that will make your friends jealous. To do this, enable Style Your Own Keyboard and tap that section. Now, what I recommend you do before you even think about how you're going to color the keyboard and what style you want to go for is grab something that you like the color scheme of already. For example, I have this. It's an old Nintendo GameCube control pad, and it's got some really cool contrasting colors. So we've got a gray, a light gray, a green, a red, a yellow, and a purple. So those are going to be my color scheme for my keyboard. Now, we could be really boring and just use one of the recommendation presets, but that's not what this video is about. Hit the plus to create your own keyboard. And when you see this the first time, it might look very confusing, especially with all these red circles all over the place. Now, the main thing you need to focus on when it comes to customizing the keyboard is the little blue dots with the white circles around them. Those are indicating parts of the keyboard that you can color. The red circles are just how you activate that section to color it. For example, the one in the top right corner is the background color. So if we tap that, we can now choose what color we want in the background. So I'm going to go for something that matches this controller color as close as I can. Something like that. So there we go, we've got the background color. So the next one across the top is your emojis and things like that, how you want them to stand out against the background. I think the white is actually fine, so I'm not going to change that. Now this one here is the background color of the key when you push it. So if I tap the circle there, go to color and choose a purple, which matches the purple here, that looks good. And if we want to, we can change the color of the lettering on that key as well. And then you see the little blue W key, that's the key before the animation starts. So we can change the color of that to whatever we want. What I'm going to do is use the same color, but turn down the saturation of that color and the transparency a little bit. The next one down is your command keys. Now, if you see this and there's no color at all, you just got a grayscale, all you need to do is turn your saturation right up, your transparency right up, and then you've got the full spectrum of colors to choose from once again. So I'm gonna go with the yellow here. Now this one at the center of the space bar changes all of the lettering on the main part of the keyboard. I do like the letters white, so I'm gonna leave that as is. And this one here on the right side of the keyboard changes the keys as they appear right now. So if we go to that, again, we've got no color, we can turn the saturation and the transparency up, and we can choose any color we want. If we want a grayscale, which is what I want, I can turn the saturation down and just go with a regular grayscale. Now what I want to try and do is match the lighter gray color that we have here, see how that looks. Now there's only one color that I haven't used yet, and that is the red. So maybe let's make the emojis red. There we go, that is a custom GameCube style keyboard. Now, if we hit the download at the top here, we can call it GameCube. And now we have the custom GameCube keyboard. And one thing you need to know about creating a keyboard, if you have any instances of the keyboard open in the background, you need to close those, otherwise it's just not gonna work. And something else I want to show you as well, when it comes to creating a keyboard, if you wanted to, when you're creating a style, you could use the camera on your device to take photos of textures, of surfaces, of colors on clothing that you like. And then instead of actually using the color palette, you could overlay images onto the keys. So check this out, this could be really cool if you use it the right way. So for example, the background here, if we open that and we go to image, but this time we're going to choose the Batman wallpaper. all of the keys now have the Batman wallpaper overlaid on them. So if you want to use photographs or if you want to create your own designs for the keys, that is a possibility here with GoodLock and the Keys Cafe. And another thing worth noting is you can actually change the style of the keys if you want as well. And there's quite a few to choose from, so you can get real creative with that. So here's a quick bonus tip to help you complete your custom keyboard style. If you go back into the Key Cafe on the home screen here, you'll see at the bottom we have effects and sounds. So if you go to effects, you can create custom effects for when you push the keys. Now some of these can be quite distracting, but the good news is you can customize these however you want. So choose the one that you like when it comes to color effect, hit the little color wheel up here, choose whatever color scheme you want or create your own one. Scroll down, you can change the key color effect, you can change the key motion effect, and when you go to the sound section, here you can customize the key sound. You've got the system touch sound, you got retro sound, which I like, calm touch, fun touch. Okay, so now you've got a custom navigation set up, you've got a custom keyboard with custom colors, you've customized your multitasking, you've created a theme for your phone. Now let's carry that theme over to the notification shade and quick settings menu. So back into the GoodLock app, in the makeup section at the top is Theme Park. So across the bottom of the Theme Park app is keyboard, quick panel, icon, and volume. We can customize each of these to however we want them to look. It is essentially creating a theme for your phone. But what I want to show you is the quick panel setup. So to create a quick panel, just go create new. And just like before, don't focus on the red circles, focus on the blue dots, because those are the ones that are indicating what parts you can change the color of. So here we can go gray like we did before. This one's highlighting the lettering at the bottom of the notification shade. So let's go red with that one. Up here, we can customize the buttons when they're active. This top one here is actually highlighting the color of the symbol inside the circles at the top. So we'll go with the lighter gray with that. And you can play around with this and spend as much time as you like doing it to make it suit your style. And you can even adjust the level of blurriness in the background as well if you want to. Once you're happy with it, you can hit the download here. And once you've got it right, what you'll end up with is something that looks like this, with custom colors. And just keep in mind, the reason I told you to find something that you already like the color of is because those colors have been selected for a very specific reason, because they work well together. Like what you see here, the purple, the gray, and the red, and the yellow, it just kind of works. And it kind of also fits the Batman theme on this phone. And if you want this wallpaper, let me know in the comments below and I'll send you a secret link to it. So here's a bonus tip for you guys for making it to the halfway point in the video. And this one's specific to phones with the S Pen, also tablets with the S Pen. So once again, we go into GoodLock. This time we're going to Pentastic. So the first section we can customize is the air command. So this is how the menus pop up. So right now it's on default. There is the line set up here, which expands like you see there. And the great thing about this is you can customize the brightness, the blur, and all these kind of effects as well. We do have the circle setup, which is really nice, and I do like this one, so I think this is the one I'm going to use. And then there's also the retro setup, which is the old school one. I think this was from the Galaxy Note 3. That was one of my favorite phones back in the day, but you can customize it to however you want. Now check this out. We can take this to the next level. As standard, when we hover the pen over the screen, you see the little dot beneath the pen. We can change the style of that, the cursor, to whatever we want it to be. For example, we can change it to a pointer. And if we go into the setting, we can increase the size of that pointer. Check this one out. This one is a little love heart. Now we have a little heart as the pointer for the S Pen. And you can go even further with this. So if you scroll all the way to the end, you can create your own custom cursor. You can get a sticker, so you can download a sticker pack from the Samsung Galaxy store and add that as a cursor. Or you can add an image from your gallery. So if you download a PNG file, which I've done in preparation, got a little batarang here. I can increase the size of that batarang. And now I have a Batman batarang as the cursor for my S Pen. And there's another section here, which is sound, which is specific to devices that have the S Pen silo. It is the sound that will happen when you eject the S Pen from the device. So this one's pretty cool. And if you want, you can create your own custom sound for the eject. And I did make an entire video about the S Pen functionality on devices, so I'll link that at the end. But one of the tips in that video was if you hold the button down on the S Pen and double tap the screen, it actually opens the Galaxy Notes app. But what you can do here within this app is now customize what that input does. So if you go to the double tap shortcut here, you can actually set the double tap shortcut with the S Pen to anything you want on your device. So use this one wisely and it can save you time in the future. And I will link that S Pen video at the end if you guys want to check it out. All right, so do you know what time it is? It's time to create your own custom clocks, one for the lock screen and one for the always on display. And to do this, go back into the Good Lock app, and this time we're going to go to clock face. And let's start with the lock screen clock. So as you can see, there's a bunch of presets. You could just choose any of these if you wanted to, but to create your own, hit the plus in the top right corner. By default, it's going to give you this traditional clock, but what you can do is tap that and delete it by hitting the little bin icon here. Now you can add your own style clock. For example, let's go digital. Let's go with this style. Let's change the format to this. We can even change the layout a little bit, something like that. We can change the color as well if we want to, for the hours and for the minutes. And with some digital watch faces, you can change the color of the colon as well. And essentially what this tool allows you to do is add layers on top of the clock to create one unit. So if we hit the plus here, we can add the date and we can drag that around to wherever we want it to be. We can customize the color. Again, we can add another layer. And this is where it gets really cool. You can add images and you can add animated GIFs as well. So if I go to GIF here and go to my gallery icon here, I did actually download a little Batman running GIF. So we can put that down here. Now, once you're happy with your clock design, all you need to do is hit the download here. And that's it. It's set up. Choose it, hit the little tick next to it. And now on the lock screen, and of course, the same thing applies to the always on clock face, although it's slightly different because the always on display works slightly differently from the lock screen. So if we go to always on display here, it will reboot the clock face app. What you see here is actually the ones that I've messed around with earlier. To create your own one, you just hit the plus here. Again, like we did before, choose the clock, choose the style, choose the colors, add your images if you want, and save it, and that will set it as your always on clock. But if you can't be bothered with all that and you just want to use a pre-made one, there is a bunch to choose from within the face section and also within the watch section here as well. Okay, so once again, let's go back into Good Lock. This time we're going to go to this one here, which is LockStar. So when you first open this app, both of these are going to be off. If you turn them on, this gives you a bit more control over the location of things on the lock screens. So if you tap on the regular lock screen, we can actually drag the clock that we just made around. Now see in the bottom left corner of that clock, there's a little icon there. You tap that, this gives you quick access to switch the clock faces. There was one that I really liked with this background. I think it was this one. So there was a nice spot here where the lettering of the date stands out really nice against the background. If we want to resize it, just hit the little bottom left corner icon and you can adjust the scale here. And this is the media control section, and you can't really do much with this other than just delete it if you want. I'm going to leave it there. But this is the cool part. So most people just have two shortcuts at the bottom of their lock screen. But you're not most people, because you're here watching this video learning how to become a customization wizard. So if you tap that bottom bar there, and in the bottom left corner, you see the little icon pops up again, tap that. We can actually add up to 6 shortcuts to the lock screen, which gives us quicker access to things we use the most. And you can choose any of the apps that are on your phone, for example, camera, or let's say calculator, we use that all the time. You can create a row which stays there permanently even when your phone is locked. Now we can toggle on our new shortcut setup for the bottom of the screen. And now you have a secret menu on the bottom right corner of your screen, which you can expand at any time and quick launch any of your most used apps. I bet your friends don't know about that. So you've made it this far into the video, and now you probably know more than most Samsung users know about their own phones. So I can proclaim you to be a Good Lock power user, but there's still more to learn. But anyway, if you are using gesture navigations and you know them like the back of your hand, I think it's about time for you to level up your gesture input game. This time we're going to go to Life Up and we're going to go to One Hand Operation Plus. Enable this. Now what I recommend you do straight away is make sure you enable left hand and right hand because this means that your current gesture navigation will remain the same. But what essentially this is going to do is unlock 2 additional new gestures on both sides of the device. So instead of just swiping in and swiping up or swiping from the left in, now you've got diagonal up, diagonal down on both sides, and these can be mapped to do anything you want. So let me show you how to set this up. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go to the right hand first. As standard, the swipe in from the right side goes back just like it did before, but a quick swipe up from the right side, we can map to do something else entirely. For example, let's say I want a swipe up from the right hand side to volume up the sound that's on screen at the time. We can change that to volume up. Now, a downward swipe from the right side is one of the most natural movements you can make on a device, so it makes sense to have this something that's particularly useful. So to modify it, go here, and one of the features that I really like about this app is this one, the quick tools. So now when I swipe downward diagonal, I get quick access to my brightness slider, my volume slider, my media controls, and all of the quick settings toggles as well. And what makes this one of the best shortcuts in my opinion is the fact that you can actually customize that quick tools section. So if you hit the little cog icon at the side here, we can actually remove the stuff that's not important, and we can reorder things. And then we can use these arrows here to drag things into order, whatever's the most important. And we can even add features as well. So spend some time customizing this. So next time you swipe inwards and downwards, you get the perfect set of tools that will be the most useful to you. So those are 2 new inputs that I've mapped to the right hand side. We can add 2 new to the left hand side as well, or if you're left-handed, maybe you only want to do those ones. But here's the thing, if this feels too basic for you and you want to add another 3 extra gesture inputs on both sides, you can do it, and you can do it by activating this, the long swipe. So with the long swipe, you would swipe in a bit further and hold, and this will activate a different command. And it can get quite technical, but if you're a power user, essentially what you can do is have 5 extra gestures on top of the standard ones on both sides. So that's 10 more gesture inputs to play around with. And if you utilize them in the correct way, you're gonna save time. But if you don't know what you're doing, it could give you a headache. So use those wisely. So if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll know I always save a few bonus tips for the end to reward you guys who make it this far into the video. So of course, I have some bonus tips for you guys. Let's go back into Good Luck. This time we're going to Sound Assistant. And have you guys ever seen that film Home Alone where he books a hotel using a voice changing tape recorder gadget thing? Well, it's 2022 going into 2023, and your Samsung phone, of course it can do this. So within Sound Assistant, if you scroll down to here, you'll see voice changer. Enable that and tap on that section. Now, what you can do is you can test the features out by recording yourself. Credit card, no problem. And you can see these are the preset voice changer features that we have.
Credit card, no problem.
Credit card, no problem.
And once you're happy with the voice effect that you've chosen, you can even enable this switch, which means it's on permanently. So whenever you use the microphone on your device, that's how your voice is going to sound. Now listen, I'm not encouraging you to prank call people. Well, at least not random people. It might be funny to wind up your friends and family with this feature, but use it wisely. Be sensible. So at the beginning of the video, I teased the parallax wallpaper effect, and it's actually really easy to do, but a lot of people get this wrong. So I'm going to show you guys how to use it. So if you go to Wonderland within the Good Luck app, go to Start, you can create your own ones. There's a bunch of preset ones. This is the Alice in Wonderland one, which I showed you at the beginning, which is really cool. You can even modify those ones that are already made. But to create your own one, hit the plus button here. Here where it says image setting, go there and enable the motion effect. Now go to preview and see if it's working. If it's not working like it's not right now, don't worry, you haven't done anything wrong. All you need to do is go to motion effect again and enable it. And now when you preview it, if it's still not moving, don't worry, what you need to do is tap here, go to image settings, turn it off, turn it on, go to preview, and now it's working again. Now don't ask me why it's like this. I think it's a bug with the software. It's not quite as polished as the standard stuff, but it does work. I thought it was broken for ages until I figured that out. So there you go, that's how you solve that problem. And if you want to go really deep with the customization of your moving wallpaper, if you hit the little plus button down here, you can actually add particle effects, and there's a bunch of preset ones There's even different images that you can add to the wallpaper that can kind of float around on top of the wallpaper and move at their own kind of speeds. There are presets, you can add video, you can add text, and even more images on top. And just to give you an idea of what's possible with something like this game one here is a really good example. It's got like a Space Invaders game and everything kind of moves around on the wallpaper. And before you say it, yes, this will use a little bit of RAM, but nothing too crazy. I mean, it's just 8-bit pixelation there. So as you see, there are so many secrets to be uncovered when it comes to good lock on the Samsung devices. And I only just explained some of the basic ones in this video. If you guys want a follow-up video going more in depth on more of the features that I haven't covered in this one, let me know in the comment section below. And I think it's fair to say Samsung have really raised the bar when it comes to their new One UI 5.0 software. And if you guys want to learn about the top 17 new features of One UI 5, check out this thumbnail that's on screen right now. And if you want to master the S Pen technique, I made a video all about that. You can check that one out. It's also on screen. And if you do that now, I will see you in the next one. So don't be late.